bantu mwiga amasomo ya hospitality industry, ubu ntibitirirwa bikugora ujya gushaka amasomo ahandi. Ubu ushobora gukurikirana lecture animation ku ma platforms atandukanye nka YouTube channel, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok ndetse no kuri email. Lecture animation, the professional lecture you deserve. Powered by National University, Mothers Union Tailoring Workshop, Lanatira Guest House, National Police, and Ejide Empire.
Hello again, lecture animation. So as our research methodology is proceeding, also today we are going to share something which is good. Where it is called, we are going to talk about the objective. How you can develop your objective where you are in a research proposal or where you are writing your book. You are going to look and understand more about an objective outcome. So when you say an objective, let's start from a word research. How and why the research should exist. When you say a research, this is a term which is likely to be used where it is defined as many ways where it aims or it focuses on bringing the research for knowledge. This has been defined in many ways, but in a simple term, it is research for knowledge. When we say it's a research for knowledge, it's because when you are making a research, already you want to bring something which is good by using your knowledge, where you obtain it from many resources and many books. Here, the research, a voyage of discover and formulas adherence to well-defined system in order to contribute to knowledge by either discovering a new fact or correcting old one. So we do a research so as to discover a new one, yeah, or an old one. So as to bring out something that's population or that's people's they don't know. So it is also defined as a systematic process of collecting and analyzing information or data in order to increase the understanding of the phenomena with which we are concerning or interested. It is also a way of collecting or helping people to bring those data so as to help them to understand some things that you want to make them know. So you may ask yourself why we do the research. We do a research because we don't have an option, because there's no option. You want to bring many options or you want to help people to have different options, and because there's a problem you have to identify that can be solved otherwise. So let us continue by the objective of the research. Why for the objective? Why the objective should exist? That is our main topic today. We are going to deal with it so as to help those learners or those people who want to write a book to understand the reason of the objective. Because if you want to have special books, your objective should be good or should be understood. First of all, the objective is defined or is that the goal intended to be attained and which is believable to be attained. So when we say an objective is those things or those actions you want to achieve or you want to bring out those things. The sole object of her trip was to see her children. That is an example of the goal. He has or he have planned a trip so as to see her children. So the objective is a state of affairs that a plan is intended to achieve and what or when achieved terminates a behavior intended to achieve it. The end justify the mean. Or you may say it is a name or it's an object as I told you, or it's a target or it's a goal. So that is the synonyms of the objective. So structurally, the objective are seen as a small particles which constitute the problem. This is a small particle which constitute the problem. You may ask why we develop a research objective. So you may ask yourself as a learner or as a person who wants to get something from the objectives of the research. So one is to focus. We make an objective or a research objective so as to focus the study on narrowing it down essential. Another one is to avoid the correction of the data which are not strictly necessary for understanding and solving the problem we have identified. On this term, on this topic, there are some people who collect their data, or they are in a book, or they are in a topic, in a particular topic, and they are bringing the unnecessary terms. So it means that the reason of developing an objective is to bring those necessary data. The next one, or the last one, is to organize. The reason why we develop the research is to organize the study in a clear defined part or phrase. That is another reason of developing our objective. A properly formulated specific objective will facilitate the development of our research methodology and will help to orient the collection, analyzing, interpretation, and utilization of the data. So the research objectives are specification of the ultimate reason for carrying out research in the first place. They help in developing specific lists in information needed. The research process, let's look on the research process, because this is another thing you have to know so as to develop your research objective. When we say the research process, since research is a systematic process, it has to have a laid down pattern. The research involved in a 3-stage. Let's look on this 3-stage of developing our research process. One is a planning, next it's data collection, the last is analyzing. We shall look on the systematic process, or how we can plan or we can organize that research process. One, we identify a problem, we interpret result and draw, we generate result, and we plan, design, and we formulate goal. So let's look how we can structure or we can have a draw of the research process. When we identify a problem, already you have a problem you want to talk about, or we want to bring it out, or we want to find a solution about that problem. When you identify what a problem is, the next one, you formulate a goal or objective. So if you have a plan, a particular plan, you just estimate, or you discover out the goal, what you want to achieve to, or why you are carrying out your research. So the next one, you plan or design a research. You start to design a research. For instance, the research will do in this way. I should use these methods, things like that. The next one, generate research results. So after planning or designing research, you generate a research. Let's take, for instance, we have formulated a goal. After goal, what have you achieved to? Because if you are planning your research, or you have to think about what will be the result, because you have to focus on result before you plan. So the next one, interpret result and draw conclusion. So where you have already discovered or you have seen the solution or the result, you interpret result and draw conclusion. So you conclude by saying, by carrying this research, I got or have seen that this and this and this, things like that. In any research or objective of the study can never evaded. So let's look on identification of the research problem. The research problem, it is important to be dealing with a topic or field or interest which the research is well has vast literature in. So the literature clearly shows need for a further study, since the solution for the problem cannot be adequate gleaned from existing literature. So a problem identified is then defined, stating the research problem excisively. So let's look how the research objective should look, because this is going to be our good thing. We have to know research objective as we are. Our research objective are derived from the purpose. They set out what is to be achieved in a research study is a specific term. So they are crucial in any research, since they determine the kind of questions and procedures to be used in data collection and analysis. In stating objective, just like in a purpose of the study, non-biased verbs should be used to determine, to find out, to investigate, to examine, to explore, to test, to establish, to differentiate, to inquire, to compare, and so on. So in formulating objective, we must care and taking attention on the followings. Let's look on something you have to pay attention before you plan for the objective. So 1, state the objective that are clear, well written and precise. So when you are planning for your objective, you write it well, and you organize it, because when you arrange it by writing, so it helps everyone to understand well. So because when you just having a narration, so it does not having a good sense. But if you shorten it and you try to balance it, so it's a good. Next one, make objective specific or significance, realistic and achievable. You set the objective which will be achievable. You don't set like those people who are not wise. So if you take a decision of writing, you try to formulate an objective which will be achievable. The next one, ensure that objective flows logically from the statement of the need and address the problem. You address a problem before you take the objective. You address a problem, and after know it, so you set an objective by comparing. So make objectives fall within the range of the result which are expected to be achieved within a limit of time. So when you are setting a time, you think about, when you are setting out the objective, think about the time. State and set out the time, because you may say that this research will look or will take like 2 years, 5 years, or even a month. You may say like 5 months. That is allowed. So when you are setting a research or when you are setting an objective, make sure that it's a good at a time. Next one, state the objective as far as possible in a term which allows measurement or at least observation on the achievement. By setting your objective, make sure that if anyone wish to see it, or when you wish to measure, it can be measured. Don't set like let me tell you a story. Jesus has said that my body can be destroyed within 1 day and can be buried within 3 days. It likes to confuse many people, because how the things or how can a house can be destroyed within 1 day and burnt within 3 days. It likes to be confused, or to be confused, cause like such example, it is not measurable. So you can tell anyone that I can just break out or destroy a house which has which is netted, and it can be built within 3 days. That is not understandable. You set out the objective which can be understandable, or to determine, to find, to investigate, to examine, to explore, to test, to establish, to differentiate, to inquire, to compare, and so on. So the next one, the objective should be hierarchy and chronologically. You plan it by chronologically. Remember once more, that objective of the research project summarize which is to be achieved by the study, and they should be closely related to the statement of the problem. In SPS, the format used in stating objective is, let's look how we can formulate, or how we can format, or how in SPS it is stating. So one, there is a general objective. Let's look on these two parts of the a good objective. One, an objective should has a general. There's a general objective, a part which is called general objective. Or it is stated what a research expects to achieve by the study in general term. How in general term your objective will be achieved, or how you expect to achieve. The next one, there is a specific objective. There's a specific objective, it's a smaller. Logically connect parts of general objective. There are specific aspects of the topic that we want to study within a framework of our study. A specific objective should systematically address the various aspects of the problems and key factors that are assumed to influence or to cause the problem. They should specify what we will do in our study, or where and for what a purpose. So let's look on like 3 examples before we close this, so as to it will help us to understand well how we can set the objective. For instance, the general objective. For a general objective, here we identify, or it comes to identify the antiviral chemical constituent in Mumbukura titonesis flowers. This is an example of an objective. Or for instance, my topic of the book should be the contribution of the meeting to the development of hospitality. Let's say that example. One, for the objectives, how the objective can be built, or how the objective can be good. So let's look, let's start by the general objective, because this objective, good objective has to, or it must have 2 parts. One is a general, next is a specific. Let's talk an example for the general objective. So for instance, I have a book and I wrote about the contribution. The topic, it says to discuss about the contribution of international meeting to the development of the hospitality, especially in Rwanda. So my general objective is to identify the contribution of international meeting to the development of hotel in Rwanda. That is the general objective. It means that the general, it direct focus on your topic. So the next one, let's go to the specific objective, because this specific objective, it comes to explain details your topic. So the specific objective, I took as an example, let's say this, about those topic, you may say to carry out the research, or to discover how the hotel benefit from a meeting. That is one. The next one, you may say to explain clearly the different types of meeting, or the different ways of collecting a meeting. That is another example of, you may say that, to determine structurally the meeting planner, or how the meeting planners collected their meeting. So for instance, let's take an example, as you are in a hotel industry, you may say, or you may establish your goal where you are aiming at identifying, or identification of the development of the hotel. Or you may say a specific objective, it come with an objective of identifying how those hotel works. So an example too, the general objective, another example, to explore to what extent the meeting activities. The next one, The specific objective is to identify the full range of economic, psychological health, and nursing care, and other needed of the patients and their families affected. So that to look on these examples, I took from another book. You may say the specific objective is to determine the economic cost of CHBS to the patients of the family, as well as the formula of CHBC program themselves. So I will try to give you on the bottom of the video so as to help you to understand. I will bring more examples of the objective, how we can develop our objective. So as we are going to conclude, let's look just few minutes to talk a few minutes about how the specific can be smart, or how the objective can be smart. Smart objective, an objective is clearly statement of something that needed to be accomplished over a period of time. Smart objectives are specific. Specific, it stands for states exactly what you need to achieve. That is what a specific means. Measurable include a quality and quantity measure. Achievable or agreeable between you and your supervisor, reviewer. Realistic, it stands for this can be challenging but must be achievable. Time or time bound with a clear and specific time scale. So thank you for being with me. That was video by explaining how your objective can be smart, or how you can make a good objective. So thank you for being with me. Let's meet on another video. Thank you.